Hi everyone, it's MeleeKirby here, and I'm going to briefly talk about the E3 2018 EA press conference, which happened last night. I was kinda thinking about live streaming this one, and I decided against it because I was kinda working on a video and I realised that I probably wasn't going to get that video out before E3, which kinda sucks, but I'm kind of glad I didn't live stream this one because I was watching it, and the short answer is it was kind of boring. It was a bit of a letdown. Like, I didn't really have any expectations per se, but I was not impressed with what I saw at their showing. And I'm kind of glad that this was the first of the many press conferences at E3 this year, because it was probably going to end up being the most underwhelming one. I mean, this is before the next one starts, which is Microsoft, which I do intend to live stream. I'm not going to live stream every conference, but I'll be, at the very least, live streaming Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, possibly Ubisoft, possibly Bethesda, maybe Square Enix. I'm not entirely sure about that one, but that's besides the point. I'll talk about my thoughts about about EA's press conference, and like I said, a little bit underwhelming, a little, maybe more like majorly underwhelming. It was kind of a mess, to be honest. I mean, maybe some people liked it, it just wasn't for me, and I'm pretty sure the consensus is the same for most people tuning in who tuned in last night. So the first thing they talked about was Battlefield 5. We got like a preview for this a couple weeks ago. I watched that. I was kind of bored out of my skull because most of it was just them talking about these features and showing concept art, and it wasn't really them showing off the game. And then they showed a trailer which was supposed to look in-game, but it was CGI, like, there's a word for it, but it's like, it's scripted, I guess. It's scripted as fuck. Like, it didn't look like gameplay at all, even though it was supposed to be gameplay. But yeah, they've shown some of it today, and it looks a bit more like what you would expect in the game. But it's still, they didn't show a whole lot. Apparently they're going to be showing more of it at the Microsoft conference, because I think EA has a deal with Microsoft and Xbox as like for showing exclusive content on their system first or something, kind of like what they used to do with Call of Duty like a couple years ago. But yeah, they talked about it. They talked about the story mode, like the little story things that you can play through, and then they mentioned Battle Royale. Yeah, Battle Royale, the thing that everybody wants to get in on the pie of, because gotta love that Battle Royale. Like, my history with Battle Royale, I haven't played that many of them, but I remember playing the Culling a few years ago, before that kinda lost all relevancy. I remember liking that, the concept of it. It wasn't quite all there, but it was quite fun at the time. And recently I've been really into Fortnite, and I do like that. I tried PUBG, I wasn't really into that, but again, ever since PUBG and Fortnite became these huge things, everybody has been trying to fight for the piece of the pie, of the Battle Royale pie, where it's just like, okay, we got to stop the presses, we got to get a Battle Royale mode ready out the door now. And we're starting to see the effects of that with other companies. Like, we recently got a Paladins Battle Royale. I think it's called Rumble Royale or something, I'm not sure. Call of Duty's getting a Battle Royale, this is getting a Battle Royale. Every fucking game's getting a Battle Royale, and I'm kinda getting sick of seeing this. It's basically just chasing a trend, and it's like the most... And here's the thing, Call of Duty had a reveal event like a few weeks ago as well, and they were like, we're getting Battle Royale, and I was like, okay, I was kind of expecting that. But then EA had their little Battlefield preview a few weeks ago also, and then they didn't talk about Battle Royale. So while I'm not a huge Battlefield fan, I was thinking to myself, oh well, maybe there's hope for the industry yet. Maybe they're not chasing this, and then it's like, nope. Come E3, we're proud to announce Battle Royale coming to Battlefield 5. Battlefield Royale. Well, that's not what it's called, but it may as fucking well be called that. Anyways, I'm kind of lingering on this one for too long. That's just rant aside, not really giving too much of a shit about that one. So next up was FIFA, just soccer, football, whatever you want to call it, just EA sports stuff. I get it, this stuff is a big part of like EA's bottom line. It's stuff that they need to talk about because it is stuff that gets them money every year. You know, it's let's see, how do I put this? It's like, obviously this is like the stuff that's going to affect the bottom line. I think that's the expression. They have to talk about it because they need to advertise like the next annual installment. It's the same with Call of Duty and the Assassin's Creed games and so on. But I am not really into sports games, so this was just a snore fest. Just sitting through them, watching them talk about the next FIFA game and what it adds to the overall experience wasn't really my thing, to put it lightly. Next up, they briefly talked to a rep from Respawn Entertainment, which is like one of the many studios working under EA, and they didn't really talk much. It was just about the Star Wars game that they're going to be working on for EA, and it's coming out holiday 2019, and it's called Jedi Fallen Order. I'm not really a Star Wars person. I've never really watched the movies, at least not yet. So I can't really say whether or not I should be excited for this, and I don't really think I should, because all we got was a title. So there is something coming out next year, but we didn't really get anything beyond that. They didn't say what kind of game it was. They just said it was taking place between episodes 3 and 4. So that was, I guess that's a thing for some people to get excited over, but it was just kind of a, it didn't really mean anything to me. Then they talked about Star Wars Battlefront 2, everybody's favourite loot box experience. Premium loot box pay-to-win experience. I mean, they've changed it a little bit since then, but you can't ignore the shitstorm that was Battlefront 2 when it first released last year, and we're still kind of feeling the effects of that now. So they announced a couple things for this one. A new squad system that's coming out in a summer update, and some new like content, like a new map I think they said, and like some new characters like heroes and villains and stuff. It's just more content for the game, and at least it's free content. It's not like, oh, you've got to pay for the season pass for this, but this was something we've been having for a while now with this game, so it was kind of, again, kind of a moot point. Like, they didn't really need to talk about this, but they were like, okay, we might as well squeeze this into the show since we're still doing stuff for it. Next, they talked about Unravel II, which is a sequel to Unravel, obviously. It's the indie platformer, and it's... I've never played the first Unravel, but I think I heard it was a decent game. But here's the really cool thing, they talked about this new game. They shown off a demo on stage, and then after the demo was done, they said it was released right after that, so as soon as they finished talking about it, it was immediately available to buy, which I thought was kind of cool. It was kind of a neat idea for them to like drop that on people, and I would like to see that more often. Like Nintendo does that with their directs sometimes, where they announce something like a new game, and then they said, oh, this will be on the eShop as soon as the direct finishes, or right now. So yeah, that was cool. I liked that. Right, Sea of Solitude was the next indie game they talked about, which I don't remember a lot of this, like what the woman, like there was women talking about it. I'm assuming she's like part of the development team, and she was kind of talking about like the inspiration for the story and all that stuff. I wasn't really paying attention too much to this one. I don't remember much of what she said. Something about like it being alone and stuff like that. And you being a monster. I'm not quite understanding what she meant by all that. Like, I guess I was just kind of phasing out a bit when she was talking. It was just, I don't even... Not that I don't care, it's just I wasn't really gripped to her words, I guess. And I guess she was nervous, like she wasn't, I can't really blame her too much. She seemed like she was passionate about the game. But the trailer they shown for it did look really neat. Like, I like the art style, the art direction looks good. It might be worth looking into. Sea of Solitude, coming out early in 2019, so sometime in the next year. Then they started talking about Madden, and once again, not really an esports, sorry, not esports, fucking, what do you call it, EA Sports? But they did show a fucking esport thing in there as well. But it's just more Madden, just fucking John Madden, Madden 91, Madden 92, and so on. It never ends with these esports games, EA Sports games. You know what? EA Sports games, EA Sports games, I don't even know what I'm saying. Then Command and Conquer, but not the Command and Conquer that you're thinking of. It's a mobile game, which is... See, here's the thing, I don't have any prior experience with Command and Conquer. I'm not really an RTS fan at all, so this is kind of irrelevant to me. But from what I understand, this kind of feels like a bit of a stab in the back to the Command & Conquer fans out there, because that series has been long since dormant since the last game. I'm not sure what game that was, but it was like a really old Command & Conquer game. And the way that they bring it back is just by giving you like a mobile game that you can play on your smartphone, which I guess some people might like, but it's not really what people were hoping for. And they fucking dedicated like nearly 10 minutes of this because they fucking shown off like one match against 2 esports players. Again, more esports shit. And yeah, not really an RTS person anyway, so this just felt like a snore just watching this. Like, I had no idea what was going on, nor did I care. And I guess other people, even if they were into RTSs or Command & Conquer, don't care either, so yeah, another big miss. And then we finally wrap up with the big thing which they teased at the start of the conference, which is Anthem, their new BioWare IP, which is meant to be like a new action-adventure thing with MMO elements to it. But they did claim it's not an MMO technically. Like, you can play it single player, you can play it with friends, but it's not going to, like, have all the trappings of MMOs, I guess. I'm not really sure. To me, it just kind of looks like Destiny. I mean, let's just be honest with ourselves, it's fucking EA's take on Destiny at this point. And it's another one of those dreaded games, the live service thing. Like, they said that they do have ideas for stories and DLC that they want to push out for the next 5 years, so you can already tell that this is the route that this game is going to go in. And the game itself, looking at the gameplay, it looks alright. Like, it doesn't look broken, it doesn't look terrible. I would believe them if they said that it looks fun, like if it is fun to play. And it probably is. But I'm not really into these games as a service thing for the most part. Like, I didn't really give 2 shits about Destiny. And then we get something that's almost unashamedly like that, but with like spacesuits where you fly around and shit, which admittedly looks kinda neat. But yeah, it's just this whole games as a service is another modern video game industry bullshit thing that I really do not care about, but that seems to be what they're driving for with this. They talked about the exosuit. There's like 4 different exosuits that give you different powers or abilities, so that you can like have a team of 4 players with different exosuits. Or I guess you could maybe mix and match and have like two people with one exosuit and 2 people with another. I'm not quite sure if that's what they said, if you could do that. But I imagine that is a possibility. Now here's something that kind of annoys me on principle. Toward the end of them talking about Anthem, they said that you can purchase cosmetics with real world money, but they then went on to say that there is no loot boxes, there's no pay to win elements, and then the crowd fucking applauds for it. Like, I mean, technically that's better than what we've been expecting from EA of late, but it's still microtransactions, like they're still monetizing this shit, and it's like, you're applauding for something that we as fucking gamers had come to accept over the last several years. It's only because of the whole loot box controversy of late 2017 did EA feel that they had to backtrack on loot boxes. I wouldn't be surprised if loot boxes were supposed to be in Anthem to begin with, but then the shitstorm with Battlefront 2 unfolded and they were like, well fuck, guess we can't do that anymore. Like, we're just going to, like, we can't fucking wait 6 months for the heat to die down and then just continue implementing this, because people will remember and people will not take this lying down. So they ended up being like, okay, we'll just remove all of that, but we'll keep in the microtransactions just because people didn't bust their balls over that, I guess. So they're basically just taking the safe route to monetize it on top of the undoubtedly $60 price tag that you're already paying for. So yeah, that's a thing, I guess. Good for them. I guess they're going to continue making money regardless. But yeah, not really going to be getting this game anyway. Like, it looks good, but it also looks kind of generic. Like, I look at these big AAA action games like this, and it just all looks the same thing now. Like, this and Destiny, if you were to show me both side by side, I wouldn't be able to tell you which was which, because they both almost look... I mean, it's a little bit hyperbolic, but they really do kind of look similar to each other, don't they? Just all those greys and browns and like this shooty bang bang, and not really anything else to it. It's just you see the little numbers flying when you're shooting shit, and it's just all the same to me. But yeah, that was like the final thing they talked about, and they announced the release date for it, February 22nd, 2019, so not this year, but it'll be not that long into 2019 that people can get to play that, so whatever. If you want to play that, then sure, go ahead. Just not for me. So, all that said and done, it was an underwhelming conference. Like, at least didn't spend too much time talking about the EA sports games, because I'm pretty sure last year they spent an ungodly amount of time to them. I think it was last year. It was last year or 2016 where they had like Pele or something on stage, just like sitting on a seat talking to them about why he was happy to be in the next FIFA or some shit like that, and I was just falling asleep watching that. At least we didn't get to that level. Sad thing is, the best thing out of this conference was probably Unravel 2. Even though I've not played the first Unravel, it looked like a decent little platformer made by a team of smaller developers with a heart, I guess, because most other stuff here just kind of seemed like jaded shit. There is the possibility of the new Star Wars game, Fallen Order, being good, but nobody can really make that call just because it's like so far off and we don't have anything else to go on other than the title. But yeah, that's... when you put all that together, it was just kind of a shitty conference, to be honest. And I'm kind of glad I didn't livestream it, because I didn't really feel any of that, and I probably wouldn't be able to offer good commentary when I was watching that. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I will be streaming the Microsoft conference. That will be happening later tonight. So if you're watching this on YouTube before that happens, you can tune in to the live stream later tonight, probably about half an hour before it begins. Maybe a little bit closer to it, actually. I don't want to wait a full half hour. But I will likely be doing that, if I can speak. And I will see you guys then, and I will maybe do Bethesda, I'm not sure. and I will do Sony's the next day, maybe Ubisoft's. There are a couple of other conferences, I'm not entirely sure which ones I'll be doing, but it's mostly going to be the big ones, and then of course, to top it all off, Nintendo at the very end on Tuesday morning. So I'll be doing that. And I'm actually excited for Nintendo's the most, saving the best for last I guess, just like you start with the worst at the beginning. Alright, I'm going to stop blabbering. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.